I'm Dr. Treaka Young. I was elected into City Council into 2024 with my great campaign manager leading me on the way, Ms. Julie Allen. And for those of you who do not know, she did volunteer to serve as my campaign manager, and here we are today, both serving on the council. So I've been in Jefferson City about 40 years. My husband and I came down to attend Lincoln University, and it was during that time when I saw a disconnect between Lincoln University and the city. I didn't know what to do about it. I just knew that it was there, and it was very strong. It was like when I left off that campus, I felt like I did not belong. And so that was one of the things that inspired me to run. But most of all, that is, the thing that really led me was being raised by a single mother in St. Louis. All my siblings were a year apart, then 5 years later came me. And so it wasn't until they were all out of the household till I realized that we were living in a situation that we probably could have been out of this sooner than 17 years. And so when I got to Jefferson City, learned about all the great resources here as I got to engage in the community. I called home and I asked my mother, why did we live there without resources that everybody had? And she said, because I didn't know. I did not know. That put me on a lifelong journey. Here I am 59 years old, and I continue on that journey from 19 years old to now to make sure that people have information about resources that they need and may want. I learned along the way there's a difference between making a decision that's informed and uninformed. If I don't know, I only can decide, and the choices are based on what I know. So it's my job. I took that on as my job to make sure that people knew about resources that were available that could be life-changing. One of the things I did was I started volunteering. I started putting myself in situations where strong people were just in the room with people where the no was. And so as that happened, I started getting I started sitting on road boards, United Way, Habitat for Humanity, those types of things. And I started learning more and more about the people who work with. And from that, I learned that every board you sat on, every room I entered, that you had to enter into, and you had to answer to, right? And so I'm all about impact and influence, and I wanted to make sure my impact was great. And so I knew that I had to do things bigger than this in order to communicate, in order to spread my impact, in order for my influence to be and therefore impact me. I was writing my dissertation at the time. I had no idea that I was married like I was supposed to be at Johnson City. And I learned along the way, talking to people, they don't have to let you in, my mother. They don't have, if they don't let you at the table, bring your own table. That's right. Bring your own table. And so that's what I'm here today. Joe back there. So as a result, I've been fortunate to learn and serve with these women as well. We're learning from each other. But one of the things I can say about City Council today is all the people who are serving here as well. So we all have the same information, the best resources, and the resources. One thing I also learned is that everybody should see it, and everybody should see it. God only designed to make sure us all that are willing. And so He's given it to me, and He's given it to us, and I'm proud to do it. And I just want to I'm not understand. And so those questions are what is needed in that moment. And so I'm very fortunate to be here today. I was unopposed. This is my election year right here. So I was supposed to be running the campaign, but I was unopposed. So I'm very fortunate to say I won my second election without having to run again.
That means you're doing a good job.
And I would want to think that, and I hope that that's what it means. Ayana told me that's what it meant. She's one of my mentors as well. We talk a lot. She gives me guidance to run as the president of the female women caucus. This new caucus. Talk. that is to serve my community. My first time I ran on infrastructure, public safety. Those are the two common things that people run on. And then I also included increasing economic impact in the Jefferson City community. What that looked like, I didn't know. I just knew it needed to be done, and I didn't have a clue. And people told me those things you say. Well, what I learned along the way is that what does economic impact look like? It looks like more jobs. You know, jobs look like more housing. It looks like building up the community to make people want to come here and spend time and spend their money. And so with that being said, I feel chief pulled me over. We were doing amazed at what it looked like. And that's, you asked why I run again. You didn't, but I know you won. Why did I run again? That's great.